Yep. Welcome to this week's episode of the Straight Talking Podcast, and we have Liberty's stalwart jiu-jitsu MMA fighter, Garrett Rooney. All right, Gary, what's the story, man?
That's my first name, yeah. Yeah, all good, John, all good, yeah.
I suppose we'll just talk about the area where you're from in Dublin, in Ireland. Where are you from?
The Liberties, yeah, Dublin, around the Oliver Bond area.
Deadly. And childhood, what was it like growing up there?
Yeah, it was good, yeah. Always like out playing and stuff like that, always around the area. Went to school in St. Audience, like, so it's just a little small school just down the road. And yeah, it was good, like, always nothing bad to say about childhood, like.
Deadly. And like growing up, what sports did you play? Did you play for any soccer? What was like your earliest? What was your sports growing up?
So
like?
Football. So I played for Oliver Bond Rangers, who are actually now back and like doing very well. I think they're in the semi-final of the FAO Senior League, like doing unbelievable. Like. But I played with them as a kid. We actually had an article in like the news and stuff, but I wasn't mentioned, so there's nothing, no like photos, no name mentioned. Like when I'm playing football, it's actually funny. Like, so like I played for them, then played for Usher Celtic, then up until about 12, I'd say, maybe a bit younger, maybe under 10s, and then just stopped playing. Didn't play football then. Then done a small bit of boxing, maybe when I was about 7 or 8 in Arbour Hill. My uncle, like my nanny's brother, runs the place, like he does be there, he has a hand in it and things like that. Desi feeling. So went up there as a kid, kind of messed about. Like wouldn't say I boxed, know what I mean? Like ran around the gym being a little bollocks when people were skipping, like. And then at about 14 I was like, yeah, I'd like to go back to that. And then just ended up getting into MMA and stuff like that.
And how, like, I came across you when Max joined I think I inquired when they were on Long Mile.
Yeah.
And I was told, listen, we're moving around the corner.
Yeah.
And when they moved, and that's where I came across you first of all, but how did you make that leap then at that age to go, I want to do jiu-jitsu, or what was the path to get there? Like,
I'd say like the UFC game.
Okay.
Helped a lot. Like I kind of was playing that with my cousin Dylan. Knew like a guillotine and a rear naked choke, but didn't know which one was which. Just knew they were two names of things. And then, so I wanted to get back into the boxing at about 14, because like about 14 I kind of like, ooh, fucking, he looking at me a bit strange or something like that. You know what I mean? So just wanted to learn how to fight, to protect myself. Like, didn't feel very confident, obviously, walking down the street. And then, my auntie actually knows Paddy, my auntie Paula.
Okay.
So they went on a first course together about exercise or whatever. And then Paddy ended up joining jiu-jitsu when they were in the course together, and ended up obviously going further, you know. So Paula said to me, like, oh, SBG is opening up in Bluebell, you should go up on the open day. Went up on the open day and then just signed up, like, because I kind of was interested in the boxing, so I said, fuck it, I'll give MMA a shot. And just was like, oh, I just want to stand and bang with people, you know, I learn how to throw head kicks and flying tornado kicks and things like that. Signed up, and then my first class was jiu-jitsu then, and then fell in love with jiu-jitsu since.
Gift. And you used to help Roddy teaching the kids class.
Yeah. So it was like very early on into my jiu-jitsu career, I was already helping coach. Like, I'd probably been only training 3 months, and Roddy would ask for like an assistant coach to help watch the kids matches. And I just used to bleed, and my dad used to say to me, like, bleed and go up and help there, you know what I mean? Like, give a hand, like, take initiative. So it was like, right, go on. I'd hop on the mats, and then I didn't turn up one day, and Roddy was like, where were you yesterday? I was like, I didn't think you needed me. He was like, nah, you're here tomorrow, and then don't miss another session then. And then I helped coach since, yeah.
And it was you and Darren helping?
Yeah, me and Darren. Darren, funnily enough, only joined because I needed like a partner, you know, because we first went to the SBG in City Centre, and Tom King ran that one.
Okay.
But there was no like kids program. Like, I would have been small as well. Know what I mean? They only done teens, so probably like 16 and things.
Yeah.
So Darren joined with me in case there was nobody my size, like he could train with me, and then he just fell in love with it as well.
Gift.
Yeah.
The elder goose, get involved.
Yeah,
get
exactly.
Involved. Don't be bleeding, hanging back.
Exactly.
Deadly.
Take initiative. Know what I mean? Because I was interested in it. Know what I mean? Like, I enjoyed doing it and things like that. And you were saying, like, then just walk on the mats. Don't wait for everybody to call you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I probably would have been a little bit shy back then. You know what I mean? Being a bit like, oh, new atmosphere. I'm not really sure how to treat this.
You shy?
Yeah, I know. It's hard to think now. It's hard to think now.
Gary Rooney is the only fella I never slag. I'm afraid to open my mouth around him because he'd absolutely fill at you.
Yeah,
Up the flats Oliver Bond, you'd just be left with your entrails all over the floor if you open your mouth.
I know I'm an amateur. I always straight. There's boys in the flats who rip into me bad.
You know the way they say about people like, oh yeah, they think they're all that and I'll see them in a street fight. The only person that brings genuine fear and terror to me is your ma, Anjo.
Yeah,
the blood would drain out of you if you try that.
Yeah. The hand comes out big, slap on the head, she bleeding, bashes she would, she's crazy.
She's salty, man. Solid,
she's a legend.
solid.
She's a legend.
Deadly. And so you started doing a few competitions. You came with us. We were all going together to
Wolverhampton.
Yeah. Was that the Europeans or the British?
Yeah, it was the Kids Europeans.
Kids
Europeans. A great trip. Yeah, trip I remember
good.
forever. Yeah, it was deadly.
That was good.
Me, you, Ben Mead went with us as well. Sean Kenny.
Yeah.
Me and Max then.
Alex
Cow as well came with us.
Alex was there. And all the boys still doing it.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Like, it shows, doesn't it? Like, when you go back then, like, you can tell, yeah.
And then, I'm going to ask you about this. Growing up then, and this is, I kind of knew about this had happened around that time.
Yeah.
So your cousin was murdered.
Yeah.
Before that. Was that, how many, it was Larkin, a couple of months before that?
I think we went over near Christmas time, was it? It was kind of maybe
October, November, yeah.
So he was murdered on, like, Halloween night. So like the 1st of November is the official day, you know. And then it was probably like fucking the end of November they probably went over. I would say.
It was close. I remember it was
very
close.
Early on, yeah.
And I always remember because it meant a lot. Gary won gold at that. Was European kids champion at that. And I always remember like the guy with Squeaky's name on it. It was Larkin's nickname.
It still fits me as a 21-year-old, and it still fits me.
But how like that's, you were young at the time, like your cousin getting murdered where you lived, that would be pretty bleeding traumatic. How did that affect you? How did you find it? So what did I gain from it? It was it still is a mad one, to be honest. Like, you know yourself, like, me and we were going to cycle the other day, just like a short story. But me and all the lads were going to cycle out to the 40-foot, hopping the sea and stuff like that. And we were waiting outside Nightingale. And like right outside Nightingale again, like a brother to him is the shrine where his memorial is. So like, it's a mad one. Like, he used to wake up every day and see that. Like, so it's crazy. But his little sister and things like that, and they were there and they were like, oh, where do you want to sit? And they were like, boy, Squeakies. And so it was like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a fucking horrible situation, but like, you have to see the silver lining in things, you know what I mean? Like it's like, that will be forever his spot no matter what. You know, that's Squeaky. So it's kind of just that mentality. You have to take the positive from things. Into like, he was murdered at 21 years of age, and I just was thinking, I have to kind of live a double life now almost. You know, I have to follow my dreams and pursue the life that he didn't get to live. So I can't just be a normal Joe Soap, you know what I mean? I can't become a cog in the system. Like, I have to follow my dreams and my passion and things like that. And I think me and a lot of the other family members have taken the same mentality rather than be, well, the family is broken, boy. I don't want to say we're not broken, boy. You know what I mean? But like, it is like, I think most of the family have taken like a positive look on it, you know? Like, it's hard to do, but I think if you don't laugh, you cry, you know what I mean? So it's one or the other. Yeah. And I suppose it's something so traumatic like that. Not that I have any mad experience or anything like that, but you can kind of take the mentality of being a victim, and we're victims, and stay paralysed by fear, and sure, look what happened to us, or we can't move, or take your attitude.
Realise, like that, it's you take it for granted every day waking up, like you do, you know what I mean? Like, it's something that me and Mario do talk about all the time, that you're born in the morning and then when you go to bed at night and you go to sleep, like that's death. Like sleep is the cousin of death, you know what I mean? As Naz says. But like it almost is that way, to where like you're taking tomorrow for granted. So why not just live the best day you can today? Like if I was to tell you you're gonna die tomorrow, I'd probably be doing jiu-jitsu. I'd probably go to the gym and I'd probably put a few hours in on the mats, you know what I mean?
Probably would myself.
Because that's what I really want. I enjoy doing that, like, you know. So I think about like that mentality. Like I don't go to college, I don't have a job, and I just train all day because that's what I like to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of the attitude I've taken from it. It's fuck all that other bullshit, you know. Like fair enough, you might need it sometimes, but not now. I don't. I'm in a position where I don't need to do anything except train, so I'm grateful for that.
Whopper.
Yeah.
Whopper. And it's I suppose I'm kind of around since you started, and I've seen it's kind of the trajectory you've taken is kind of similar to other people I know, and it's kind of, you start off as this little kid and then you're kind of evolving jiu-jitsu, then no-gi, then a bit of stand-up, and now you're amateur MMA and IMAFs and stuff like that. And I remember looking at your last fight down in Cork, Cage Legacy. So you have a few fights on YouTube. People, it's mad. Like, I had Ryan Curtis on, and a lot of people that looked at the podcast goes, I was looking at his fights and on YouTube. People seem to, whether you have a guest, kind of do a bit of research on them and say, Jay-Z did a great go against your man, and blah, blah, blah. So you had a good fight on Cage Legacy. We were down there for that. How did you find that one? Like fighting down in Cork, and what experience did you gain from that MMA fight? Yeah,
so it was a funny one because my first MMA type of tournament was down in Cork as well. The very first time I done an MMA tournament was down in Cork in the Neptune Stadium, and Liam O ran that as well. So it was funny, like, to have my first official MMA debut down there. I was going like, this is actually a bit of a crack, like. But it was good. It was a tough fight. Ronan Butler's like, he comes to have a knock.
Game.
Yeah, he is game. And he came in a bit heavy as well, know what I mean? And I kind of got a phone call that morning. And like,
he looked a good bit bigger.
He was a bit bigger, know what I mean? And like, I got a phone call off John. He said, look, do you want to do it or not? And it was just kind of like, like, I sparred in the gym every day with bigger guys. I'm never going to be, I don't think I'll ever have to reach on anybody. Know what I mean? I'm being realistic. So I just said, right, I'm ready for the knock. It was on the day, you know what I mean? I'd weighed in and I was like, I was ready to go. So I said, of course, I don't give a fuck about the weight. And then that was it. I went down, and it was weird because we were in the same changing room. He was down the back and I was in the front.
Yes.
And I didn't care. Like, I kind of have the mentality of, we're going in to have a fight now, so it doesn't matter. Like, you know, I know some people need different change rooms, and in IMAF it's the exact same. So it prepared me for that as well. Like, I was thinking about that in the change room. I was like, in the IMAF, there's no different change room, so I need to be ready to be able to look at, like, go for a piss, come back in and see my opponent standing across from me. And you can see it in him as well, that it's like, you're going out to fight, you know, you're scared and stuff like that, and you can see it, and it makes it a lot more human and things, you know, like, and you try not to get too nervous before the fight. You have to keep it all inside and be ready to use it in there, you know. But it was a tough fight. I'm glad that it was such a tough fight for me first one, to be perfectly honest. I think if I had kind of went in, got a handy footlock in the first 30 seconds and then bounced out, this is easy. I'm glad
it was
that.
A grind.
And you know, and I remember thinking, like, in the third round, like, fuck, like, it's 1-1 here now, you know, like, I have to bleed and win this round or I'm going to lose my debut, you know, and that was the mentality. So I said, like, I want more than him, and I just dug deep. I felt like I dug a bit deeper, and then I got the victory then. I was very happy with it.
And I like that, what you explained there, him in the same changing room as you. I was listening to Mohammed Makiev. Now, I'm not a fighter, but I kind of do understand it, and kind of I understand it from Max's perspective as well. He doesn't really get like that. It's like, we're going to have a scrap. There's no point in shy talking.
If
you know what I mean?
We're going to have a... Like,
build it up a little before, because it is entertainment.
Exactly.
But, like, we're going to have a scrap.
If it becomes personal, then we'll sort it out now. You know, if it gets to that stage, then there's no point. Like, if you see each other, you're going to throw hands on sight. But if you're building it up for a fight and it's a bit of entertainment and he's about, no, of course it doesn't matter, you know, like once it doesn't get too personal, you know. But if it gets too personal, so send me location and then you just do it, ain't it?
Yeah. Send me location.
Yeah.
I smish. I smish.
Yeah.
And so that was, then you went to the IMAFs.
Yeah.
How did you find that experience?
Yeah, that was a great experience as well. So went over to Rome for the first one for the Europeans. Went over there, stayed in a room with Owen Sherrill and Lee. So Owen Sherrill, I got to know Sherrill there on that trip.
The sheriff.
What a head case, yeah. But good music taste, loves the disco tunes as well. So it was good tunes all week. But went over and me and Jer Harris were kind of like, we were like, oh, we'll meet in the finals, it'll be easy, we walk home with silver gold, it'll be fresh. And we were kind of like looking past everybody.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of like feeling very good in sparring. I was like, lovely, this will be fresh. And everybody was always talking about in that week, like, oh, what are you and Jer going to do when you get to the finals? And me and Jer were kind of still like, oh, will we fight, will we won't? But like looking back on it, we were thinking about getting to the finals, know what I mean? And it was cocky, know what I mean? Exactly, yeah. But I ended up losing in the first round and he lost in the first round as well. And it really sent me home, like, right, I have to look at this as a fight, know what I mean? Like I went in to that fight and I tried to play like a competition, like jab, but I felt like I won the fight. Still, to be honest, I felt like I got ripped off on the decision. But it is what it is. I didn't finish and I should have finished him. I should have submitted.
And who was the guy? What country was the guy you were fighting from?
The guy was a Russian, but he was fighting for Bahrain.
Right.
Shamil, his name is. I can't remember his last name.
Good wrestler.
No, he was kind of more like a kickboxer.
Okay.
More kind of like a kickboxer, flexible guy.
Okay.
Threw a spinning back kick a few times. But went over there, lost on the decision. I was like, fucking, I bleeding won that. And then I was thinking, but I should have finished him. You know, when I felt in there, I was like, I'm better than this guy.
Yeah.
So I just went on cruise control.
Yeah.
Outpointed him with the jab. And then lost. And I was like, oh, bollocks.
Yeah.
So then in the next IMAF tournament, which was Bahrain, I kind of went with the mentality of, right, I'm here to kill this fella as quick as possible. Not aggressive and not emotional to it, but kind of like Gunny Nelson approach, like a hitman. I think that's the way you have to do it, you know, of to make a raid and then have to just boom, like kill you for making that raid, you know, that one mistake. So I went over to Bahrain and I felt like I done a lot better in that tournament, yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
But the IMAF tournaments are fucking deadly.
I've never been at one, but I hear all the guys that have come back and like I take notice when I hear Paddy Holohan talking about them, and I take notice when I hear Mark Goddard and how they speak about them, and like that in Kazakhstan and Moldova and Russia and all these countries where they're taking the IMAFs so serious.
Yeah.
And you can see they're taking it serious here, that it's the next step for amateurs, because it's very hard for an amateur to get 4 fights in a year in this country with pullouts and stuff. Yeah. Whereas really, if you get a good run in that and good draws, you can get 5-6 fights in a tournament. You know what I mean? So it's all experience. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's all experience. So it seems to be the way forward.
That's what I'm 3-2, and I've had 3 fights in 3 days.
There you go.
You know, like it's a mad one. Like that's my record. Like I won 2, lost 1, but like 3 fights in 3 days was some experience. You know, it was crazy. And then when I came back from the IMAF and done that Grapple Kings tournament, the Jiu-Jitsu tournament, it was the same thing. Your man was warming up beside me. Yeah. And I was just like, I'm going in here just to grapple now. Like there was no fear. I went in and like had a fucking deadly time. You know, I got to show parts of my game that I've never got to show before, and you don't really get to do things like that often, especially like Jiu-Jitsu. You know, there's a few tournaments, and I know there's a few more, and I want to get onto those tournaments. But it is like, it's fun to do Jiu-Jitsu then, you know, with the heel hooks and stuff like that, because you don't get to do them in the IMAF. But I should have finished that one, and I've studied since then.
I've loads of funny stories on you. Do you know what I mean? Because every time Max competes at a tournament or no gi or submission only or even MMA, it's always Gary's coaching me sound. Yeah. So like the last MMA fight that Max done up in Belfast. Yeah. So Max is doing a fight in Belfast, and in fairness, he was warming up in a different area than your man was warming. You were doing a bit of warming up, and they were calling. It was like an interclub thing in the FAI club run by Liam Shannon and
Pat McAllister.
Two legends.
Yeah, run very well.
And
very safe
they invited
well,
Smullen up. Had he any fighters? So we went up. I brought you and Max up, and they're warming up, and they're calling the fighters. Max does a bit of warming up, and you know the way they say some people get, everyone says they don't get nervous, but they get really nervous. So like, I'm bleeding. It's me son.
Of course, he's going into a few digs
I'm like, he's going into a cage here. My heart's in me mouth, and I'm kind of looking at Max in the corner, and it's like 7, and they're calling 8, and he's fight 11, and it's 10. And I go over, Max, you're right. And there's no move out. Max, you're right. And he's fucking fast asleep.
It was a mad one,
Fucking
he was
chill
in the Zen
mode.
mode.
Whatever. But anyway, he's walk out. So I'm in the crowd. You're coaching him.
Yeah.
And he fought. He couldn't get matched up. He was struggling to get matched up, but he fought a lad under Rodney Moore. And
he had a few fights as well, I think.
The young lad, Rodney Moore and Reece McGee.
Yeah.
He was their fighter. And this is getting to the funny point. So I'm listening to Gary's coaching and Max is doing his thing, you know. So Max wrestles fucks your man and dominates him. But anyway, he's on an arm bar and Max has it extended. And your man's like, he's not doing anything. And we're in, like your man's whole family are in the front row, the uncle's whole family. And I feel sorry for him because it was like that Rocky fight. Remember Rocky goes in and does the wrestling fight with your man and he's getting picked up. He's getting picked up and dropped and picked up and dropped. And so your man's in a fully extended armbar and Pat McAllister's kind of looking at it and all you hear is Gary, like all your man's family, fucking break that. Break that. Just fucking break it. Fucking break it. And I'm like, Jesus, I'm not going to get out of here and fucking live. There's 3 of us in the middle of fucking Belfast against a local fighter and you were screaming, Max, just fucking break that. Fucking just break it. And I'm like going, Jesus Christ.
2 14-year-olds in there.
3 of us are going to end up in a laneway with no kneecaps.
But that's what you're there to do. That's what the submission is.
Pat stopped to thank Jesus before the uncle got his arm broke. You know what I mean?
He was willing to let it go.
No.
He started moaning as well.
And he started giving out. He didn't tap. Like his arm was hyperextended for about 30 seconds.
Fair play to the youth for that.
He was game. But that, just break it. Just break it. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I was saying the rosary in the corner. Please let me get out of here alive. But that's one of my funniest stories. I've got good for you, but that was a funny story.
Same in England as well. There was a few of those in England where he was on the field bounding out chokes, and it's like, choke him out, choke him out.
Yeah, it's good. Good memories, then. Yeah. Good memories. But then, now at the moment, so you're down in Charlestown.
Yeah.
Doing a decent bit of striking. So I suppose people are interested in training and stuff. Talk us through your week. So Monday, what are you doing at the moment?
So at the moment now, Monday I do be coaching in Paddy's. So I coach the jiu-jitsu there. Then I'll come home, probably go on a jog, come back, get the bus to Ruddy's, then train from 11 till usually about 1:30 or something like that. It's a long class, or maybe like maybe like 12, 12:30. It depends. Like some sessions do go on for long, like some sessions do be cut short. But they're always a tough session. But then from there, go home, rest a little bit, and then probably train again with either Lee or when HQ is back open, I'll probably go up and then do the no-gi session there. Tuesday, I don't get up early. And then I would probably go to John's MMA session then on the morning time. And then I would train again in the evening. Tuesday, if it's open HQ in the gi. And then probably either that or with Lee, like I'd usually either train like same time, 11 in the morning, and then in the evenings probably like from 6 to 8 or 6 to 9, you know, around those times. It's either with Lee or it's either usually with like Steve Purcell, or I do like a bit of boxing in the flats, or, you know, kind of around those times, but mainly MMA in the morning, then grappling in the evening.
Daily.
And then Saturday and Sunday, Paddy's does have an open mass on a Sunday. And then yesterday I went to Roddy's for a bit of sparring as well, so that was good. But then like I changed it up a good bit, you know. I think like trying in different spots is like great for you, you know, going out to Sergey's to wrestle and then going out to, you know, maybe D24 to learn off Joey, and then maybe to learn off Paddy MMA, and then going to Roddy's to learn MMA, going to John's to learn MMA, you know. So mix it up, you know. Even going to like, I don't go to Collie Martin's, but like I know Max goes there sometimes, and I know a few of the other boys go there and like learning striking off them, you know. You might as well throw yourself into the deep end, you know. Train with the guys who are expertise in that area. You get whooped by the best of them, and then when you come back to MMA when they're only mediocre at it, it's like easy, you know.
Yeah,
so that's the way I think about it.
No, that's a good mentality to have.
Yeah.
And excuse me, I suppose as well, you kind of got into the leg locks. Both of you got into the leg locks off Smullen.
Yeah, off Richie,
taking you into the dark arts.
Yeah.
Is would be both leg lockers.
100%, yeah. And Smullen's like a weird one because he was doing it before. And
cool.
It's mad, isn't it? Like, it really is crazy. Like, and he wouldn't, like, not that he wouldn't know the system, but like, he's just like, well, I just do this. Like, me and Max are saying, Ashigorami and reversing Kaku and all these mad names. And someone's just like, I just grab the foot and break it. Yeah, and you're like, yeah, well, that works as well because I can't heel hook him and he's heel hooking me, you know. Yeah. But it's a crazy one because me and Max got to progress really quickly because of the like graft Smullen done, you know. Smullen put in the hard amount of hours for it, and then was able to show me and Max how to do it like fucking simple, you know. Like, it was, man, very grateful for Smullen. Like, many hours of drilling me, him and Max have done, like him showing me how to finish
it's mad. Like Richie Smullen, like, he put a lot of time into you, he put a lot of time into Max, and he put a lot of time into Alex Keogh as well. And three are savages. He should, Smullen, he should get an L clap on the back because he did. He put a lot of time into his on that system he has.
Yeah, he has a lot of time for Smullen people as long as you're like no bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, if he says to be there at training, you just be there at training. You know what I mean? Don't let him down. Don't say you're willing to do this and then not do it. You know what I mean? Because you get one shot with Smullen, you know, and if you fuck up, right, he doesn't care. You know, it's no skin off his back. He's still training like an absolute workhorse, you know. He doesn't really care. But then when he's resting, if he wants to coach you, you know, like, you just show up and he'll show you good technique and that's it, like.
And another funny story, I only had to think about this when we're talking about leg locks. We had, we had Rob Deagle over. The boys organised it in Charlestown. He taught 2 leg lock seminars.
Yeah, he taught one HQ and then one in Charlestown.
And Rob he's not a man, like, he's just into his thing, which is leg locks and learning and history and how things work. He's a good guy to be around.
You know, they all kind of have that similar approach.
He's a good guy to be around, and in fairness, he puts in like the hours.
No, yeah, for definite.
But the funny story is, so you and Max and Rob headed off into town. And you were going to show him the sights.
Yeah, show him around Dublin,
And you bought them all around Dublin. And myself and Yvonne are like follow him. Max. How we find out sometimes where Max is check out his Instagram. Teenagers are not ringing you. Teenagers are not ringing you. So I'm like looking at, the boys are down Trinity College. That sound, and then you see the lads are floating up James Street there. And then you're seeing where they are, and then Rob posts a photo from the flats from Oliver Baum Flats, and it's beside
Watland Street Flats.
Watland Street Flats. Beside
everybody in Watland will be snapping saying, "You're not even from here. You're saying you're from the Bond." No,
the Bond's about like 10 seconds around the bridge. But it's he's taking a photo beside Maggie Simpson.
Don't know how I got there though. How I got there.
With a thing saying heel hooks in the gate. And looking at the stories, you know, and I'm looking then at Rob's post he puts up, you know, and I'm seeing all these Americans, like one of them commenting underneath, hi Rob, whereabouts in Dublin is, they're all like heel hooks in the gi, yeah bro, giving it all that, and then it's like, hi Rob, whereabouts in Dublin is that? And me 70 Vom were just looking at it, I was just like crying, laughing at the response. He goes, I'm in the flats.
After being kidnapped myself.
I'm in the flats. And me 70 Vom were just like, Jesus Christ. It was so funny, and you and Max had them chicken fillet roll and a can of Coke.
Yeah, he enjoyed it. He said it was gorgeous, to be honest, to be fair. He said it was like tops, so we were like, all right, fair.
Immersing them in Dublin culture.
Yeah. What did we go and get the donuts? What's that, offbeat as well?
Offbeat as well,
we got offbeat donuts, yeah, they were tasty. Oh, and his moustache now was very funny. He had to go teach the seminar and all, bits of lemon meringue pie bleeding down and stuck in his beard. It was very funny.
That was a funny story, man. In the flats.
Yeah, that's really was. Got brought you the full experience, cup of tea, few biscuits and all. Gas.
That was a funny one.
Yeah.
So,
some bleeding sequence without the Eagle. Unbelievable.
He really does, like, and I like with Rob when he's showing it, it's like if he does this, if he does that, it's like bump. Yeah. I like that step through. If he goes this way, if he goes that way, if he grabs this, if he tries to. I love the way he explained. It's like if it gets to this stage, it's like damage limitation. And it's like, what do you mean by that? Who's willing to take more damage? It's like, okay, I'm not.
But like that's the mentality he's got. Like
who's willing to take more damage?
Class, it's crazy, man, isn't it? But those sequences, like I still remember perfectly, like they were broken down, like unreal, man, unreal, yeah.
And that was just before really coronavirus really kicked off, like, you know what I mean? It was all downhill after that for a while, you know.
You should have stayed in Ireland, maybe it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. And so, what's next for you, fight wise or grappling wise, or what's on the radar and the future?
There's a bleeding competition in Satori soon or something like that. Is that? I wouldn't mind bleeding.
Non-profit.
Yeah, that bleeding thrown up. If there's money towards that, they're giving it towards the healthline
frontline workers.
Yeah, fair play to the
That's
boys.
in October, I think. The non-profit open.
Yeah, they're legends, man.
Satori boys.
They're absolute
they do
weirdos,
some comps, man.
I swear to God, like, and people kind of sometimes slag them sometimes because they do things like a bit weird, like different to everybody, but. At the end of the day, they're the only ones who actually do it.
They put a lot of comps on. You know, they put a lot of comps on. And in fairness to the boys, you know, they give Max gear here and there and give him gaze and put super fights on them.
You know what I mean? They're not bleeding rolling in it, you know. So of
course they put super fights on them. And like Max isn't even in their club and they're putting on super fights for him and stuff like that. So they're giving them matches. So.
And the kids' competitions, at the end of the day, there's not many people like for the kids, and the kids need it, know what I mean?
I never, the boys they put on serious comps. The L calendar there'd be large gaps in it.
Yeah, there would be.
Without the two Sheridan brothers.
But I'm probably going to do that jiu-jitsu competition, and then I have a Cage Legacy kickboxing match. I think it's September 25th or at the end of September. And then I'd like to get on to the Halloween card as well. But I'm just looking to...
Take out Kenneth. Get him sorted.
Yeah, he knows. There's
Gary Yar looking for a knock.
Yeah. But I'm just looking to get as much experience as possible now, John. Into like I really think like that's the next step forward now. I think like there's a very small margin between professional and amateur now, I believe, like at the top. You know what I mean? Like the top amateurs in the world are like very high level professionals, you know what I mean? They're kind of skipping all those journeymen and like they're up there. You could almost say that some amateur fighters could be fighting in the UFC. Yeah. You know? But I think kind of the next step now is to get experienced amateur fighters. Like when you look at boxers, they have 300 fights on their records, and that's not including the ones that are gym versus gym every Saturday, you know? Like if you were to count that in, that thousands of fights. So I think in MMA, sometimes people rush it a little bit too quick. You know what I mean? I kind of like the way Max done it as well. Like he had like the one or two small amateur fights, but mainly stuck to jiu-jitsu competitions and wrestling. Not many boxing fights, not many K1 fights or nothing like that. You know, I think it's important to keep the head switched on. You know what I mean? The brain as quick as possible. Like and jiu-jitsu and wrestling, right? Sometimes when we get a bang on the head, and I know you get concussed a few times from it. I know you're being concussed, but it's not often. You know what I mean? No. Like so. I think like that's the way to go, and have your 3-4 MMA fights a year, try to get a few in, but like grappling as much as possible, getting your competition grappling game down, because that's what I felt like I was missing. And Max, when he came home from America, really kind of put in focus that he's doing this because of this. And then I was only listening to the Quarter podcast as well, and he's talking about like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
And I only started to kind of question that myself recently, you know, I just used to learn the moves and then I just do them. There was no why involved, know what I mean? It was just, here's a technique for that position and I just do it. So I was like, all right, sweet, I'll do that. But now it's kind of like I'm doing this to set up this or because of this. And when Max came home from America, he'd left and it was like 50-50. I'd catch him, he'd catch me. He'd probably say it was 60-40. But I'm saying it was 50-50. But he'd kind of, like, when he came back, he was smoking me then. Like, coming in, stepping in, doing this, doing that. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, it was systemized, know what I mean? Like, he knew what he was up to. So I was kind of like, right, I have all these techniques, but how do I use them, you know? So I really kind of upped my level.
Yeah.
Max coming back from that, knowing what he was doing. So I kind of upped my training and started to think, right, I need to learn not just the moves that I'm doing, but like, why am I doing them? And when I do them, what does it open? And it's kind of like the striking as well. Roddy like teaches the striking exactly like that. It's all about reaction and then learning from that reaction, what do I do next? It's not just keep doing American style, like American wrestling. If it doesn't work, just try harder and faster, you know? It needs to be a thought out process. Like,
I like the way the boys break it down, and I understand the concepts. I'm not a fighter, but I understand the concepts, and they apply kind of to all sports. It's like, and Kurtar broke it down, and Sergey breaks it down in wrestling as well. It's like, I'm giving you and showing you this, so you do that, so I do this.
Yeah.
And you're doing the same to me.
Yeah.
You're showing me that left hand because you want me to step there out of the way so you can give me this. Or you're pushing me this way.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on you to push back so I can do this. So it's, but the guy that's standing in front of you is trying to apply that too. So it's like, you know,
it is human chess. Like, I've only actually got big into the chess recently. I know Max. I know you're saying you have Max and Christian on the chess since young.
Max, I don't play him anymore. It's like grappling. It's just, it's not fair.
Not fun anymore.
It's not funny. It used to be fun when I won. It's not fun anymore that I don't win.
It's crazy, but it really is, because it makes you think like everything I do has a reaction. It's not like I don't do anything and get away with it. Like, I don't make a free move, you know what I mean? And like, when you're doing that in chess, it's probably because you're so much better than the other guy, you know? But if it's equal, if you move one thing, he's looking at that and he's saying, why did he move that piece that way? You know, I got bleeding whooped in the flats the other day by one of the lads, Frog, and he bashed me at him, man. And he just said, next, not even worth it.
And I've heard a good few people, like black belts and stuff, saying it's not like human chess. It is.
No,
it is
100%.
I'm not, like, in chess, I'm moving a few pawns. I'm not wading into you straight away. I'm lamping me bishops out there and me horses, and I'm moving them around. I'm trying to bait you in. Do you know what I mean? To take a little Mickey Mouse piece. You know what I mean? To set you up.
Yeah.
And it's the same in MMA.
Yeah,
it's like,
100%. And it's kind of like, if I was watching a Lachlan breakdown the other day, and he says, if you can win a battle that your opponent doesn't even know is happening, you've won. Like, and it's a mental when you think about that, because we all have 2 arms and 2 legs. And not all of us, not be blade coming at me. But some of us have 2 arms and 2 legs, the lucky ones. But if you can, like, win those little battles that he's not even sure he's fighting, like, then it's crazy, man. Like, because he hasn't even thought about it the same way that you've thought about that. You know, like, he's coming at him from 2 completely different mindsets, you know. So it is crazy the way, if you just spend so many hours on them, you find like little scenarios to win. Like, it might not be getting to the mount. It might be just like some small little detail about the foot placement that will eventually help you get to the mount, you know?
And even if you look at breaking down fights, and say Conor, like, looking at his early fights and how he's constantly, every time he fights, there's something new. Something new. You look at, like, Nate Diaz, all his fights, he stands heavy on that lead leg. Conor butchered it. And you have Justin Gaethje then. Similar. Like, everyone was expecting Tony to do X, Y, and Z. And Justin to just stand and he just changes it.
Yeah,
like, I used to like in the early days of Conor, like that kick to the knee, that stabbing kick, or the front kick, or the against Max Holloway,
belly,
that corkscrew uppercut.
Yeah.
There's always
Yeah.
constant evolving, and the guys, like the only one that hasn't really evolved is Khabib.
Yeah.
You know what he's gonna do.
Yeah. It's
few
tough
shots,
though. It's tough, you know.
You know what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
But I think Gaethje could beat him.
Yeah, it's a good fight for definitely. Yeah, and I'd also love to see like a world class jiu-jitsu guy against Khabib. You know, that's the fight I would like to see. Like somebody who's not just stalling on bottom. You know what I mean? I'd like to see like the likes of Ryan Hall or. You know, some like even like Tonin. I think Tonin and Khabib's a bleeding great fight. You know.
Yeah.
I think like somebody who's doesn't fit into the puzzle, like is completely outside of it. You know.
Yeah.
But Gaethje he's also outside of it because he has that freestyle or folk style wrestling, is it? Like the good scrambles, the good Granby rolls and things like that. So it'll be hard to hold him down for definite.
And he was ranked high in the NCAA's pedigree, like his good pedigree.
But I do think the Russian wrestling is a lot more slicker than the American.
Yes.
It's even more fun to watch, you know what I mean? Like, and it's beautiful, man.
Even what Khabib done to Poirier, it's just like that, just drowning him.
Yeah.
It's, I don't really, maybe Tonin, but apart from him, I wouldn't see any other jiu-jitsu guy. Yeah. They'd just be drowned.
Yeah, it's difficult, like it really is.
That hot pressure. Like.
Yeah. But I think the leg locks would work well against them. I really do. I think like if you could get underneath them and then maybe start to unbase them from single leg X and things like that, because I don't think you're going to sweep them from close guard.
No.
When you go to the IMAF, it's very similar. Like when you look at the IMAF tournaments, like the majority of the guys who win the fights are Russian. Like Russia is like the best at the moment, and then I think it's Kazakhstan. So like between the Russians, the Kazakhstans, all the other stands,
sitting in half guards and banging.
And it's fucking difficult to stop. Like, and you're looking at fighters from all across the world coming to try beat that style, and they're just doing it to everybody, you know. So there is something that they're doing that's beating everything, but there has to be a counter to it, you know. They have to be lacking somewhere. Like it can't be, I can just stand up with them. Like there has to be somewhere on the ground that weak.
Yes.
And I think it's the leg locks personally. I just think it's like from half guard you can get to a leg lock position easy if you can go to all these other like 50-50. Like they're all open from the half guard. You know what I mean? Everybody's trying to get back to close guard, but maybe close guard isn't the option if they can do the splits. Like the wrestlers are freaks, like freak athletes. Like me and you were only talking about it. They can do the splits and they're super explosive, you know. So it's difficult to beat that when your technique isn't as good as their explosiveness and flexibility. You know, when they're flexible and explosive, then your technique needs to be like super crisp. If it's not super crisp, then it's not going to work, you know. And in a fight, it's very hard to get it like that.
And that's the difference I find between jiu-jitsu and wrestling. Like jiu-jitsu, it's like a couple of techniques, right, let's roll.
Yeah.
Whereas wrestling is like it's an hour and a half or 2 hours, but it's a good hour and a half of just, okay, we're going to do 3 techniques. Yeah. We're not doing rounds after, we're just going to do them techniques over and over and over. Yeah. And I think that's why the wrestlers, in my opinion, like the wrestlers in the jiu-jitsu stakes and the no-gi stakes, and even in MMA at the moment, all the good guys, all the past champs are
wrestlers. That dog attitude of like
it's relentless.
Let's go.
It's relentless. Like it's non-stop.
Yeah, me and Max have competed in jiu-jitsu and we've both said it's different. Like it's talking afterwards to him and stuff like that. And in jiu-jitsu, you get a takedown, you get to the back, man, you're so happy. You know what I mean? You're like, lovely. It's the fight is over soon. Yeah. And then like you get the back, you get the choke, it's done. In wrestling, you get the back, you get to a choking position. You're not allowed to choke the guy. You're bollocksed after taking him down. Yeah. And in jiu-jitsu, that's when you're like, now it becomes like the slow pressure game. Now it's like nice and slow movements. In wrestling, you take the guy down. You have to work extra hard if you want a few more points to score up and rack them up. Yeah. So you have to work even harder if you want to keep it on the ground. And then if you decide to take a rest, the referee slaps you on the arse, stand back up and wrestle again. You're like, oh, mate, please, like, just give me 30 seconds on the ground, you know. But they're ruthless, like, you know. I think that's the difficult there. You get them down, you're like, lovely. Boom, back up again. And then you have to do that twice, 2 rounds, 2 3-minute rounds, you know. The the rest in between is cool as well that you don't get to see in jiu-jitsu.
And I like then, like looking at beach wrestling competitions, which is even worse because you're only getting at 1 point for a push out or 2 for the takedown, and you're standing back up, standing back up. No matter what, it's only 2 points. So it's forced to 10.
And it still has that 10-0 rule, yeah. Whew.
So you're scoring, and then it can go on, and it's deep sand.
Yeah.
It's a good.
Max done that, yeah.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's good. They're good to watch. Like you see, like the jiu-jitsu guys, you can see them when it gets to 5 and 6.
Sand in the urinals, kill them.
Like they have them, you know, like them weed sprayers.
Yeah.
So full of water because fellas get bleeding planted into the face first.
Fucking hell! I was gonna say that, like. I can only imagine shooting a double or something. The guy spraws a bit of sand in your eye.
And the sand is loose enough, like it's hard to get a bit of traction in and work.
Yeah. Brake falling on it and all.
So it's that extra stand up. That's I find like in jiu-jitsu the lads will settle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You see jiu-jitsu guys turn up to do a wrestling class, and after 45 minutes or an hour they're shitting themselves in the corner.
It's difficult, and they're just like, oh, when is he gonna change the technique? And I was like that at the start. I was kind of like, oh, so you guys don't single legs again this week. Oh, single legs again and again and again. But then my single leg has gotten so much better since then that I can't say anything bad about it, you know, because at the end of the day, as Bruce Lee says, I fear the man who practices one kick 10,000 times, then 10,000 kicks one time into, like, it's just getting to be in that position longer than anybody else, like it is. Like you need to just practice like hours in one position. I think that's the way to get better, you know, personally. Like training away, and America and things like that, and Cabrinius and AOJ as well. They do lots of positional training, and you know I've added that into me game a lot, like just specific scenarios. Okay, if I start with the Kimura trap from the back, if he breaks the Kimura trap, just start again. You know, there's no need to let it go and then we'll have a full round. Just like do that. Pick 3 positions, and then like positions that you're weak in, not positions where you're strong. Like positions where you're like, oh, I hate when it gets the butterfly guard. Right, well, practice your butterfly guard, and I think if he passes or gets the close guard or does whatever, and it's not butterfly guard, stop and start again. You know, walk on the areas you're shit at. Yeah, I think in wrestling, like you're in that single leg position so much. Like if you grab a single on a guy who hasn't been there as long as you, it's like super simple, you know. And I think that's what the wrestling does that the jiu-jitsu guys don't. It's like the one position all the time. You go to like a jiu-jitsu class on Monday, it's guillotines. On Tuesday, it's footlocks. And sometimes you need a bit of structure in like just go over guillotines for the week sometimes. You know, that's the way we teach it anyway.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I find even with my jiu-jitsu at the moment, I'm stopping doing leg locks. And I'm stopping doing leg locks because it's the easier option for me to leg lock someone. So what I'm trying to do now is the past little while is stopping leg locking and just trying to recover guard and get your back.
Yeah.
And I'm getting finished left, right and centre. But even at my age, you know what I mean? It's like now I need to go, I need to get to his back. And other people are used to my little submission game that I have, limited submissions, and they're wide to it. So I need to
cross collar choke from half.
I need to start doing different things. Like the other day I was trying that game. Scott Harvey must have had an army about 5 times, and I'm like, right, I need to do something here apart from that to stop that. And I was like, I'm on the right hand side. I need to start showing on the left hand side.
Nice, exactly,
And even people are saying, even at my age, because I want to improve. Like, I want to get better. Of course. And leg locks, I can do them. But if I'm just doing them all the time, I'm not getting better anywhere else. You know what I mean? And it's limited. So
you can see the jiu-jitsu is kind of going like that. It's kind of like the other techniques are starting to fall, but the leg locks are going really high, you know. And I think that's a bad thing. Like I love training in the gi. And I know some people are against it. I know some people are like, oh, fuck that, it's boring and stuff like, and it's not realistic for MMA, but I actually do think it is. I think, like, if you put in so many hours on the mat, period, no matter if it's wrestling, gi jiu-jitsu or no gi jiu-jitsu, if I, instead of going home and resting, if I just done the Thursday class in the gi, like, that's more hours added up on the mats than the other guy, you know? And if it's also... it's tougher. It's training with a handicap, like, know what I mean? Like, okay, usually I would be able to escape and come up on a single leg, but now I can't because he has a big grip on me collar.
Yeah.
Right, well now I have to work on something. What happens if you're against like a big huge juice head and his crossface is so strong you can't turn up on a single leg?
Yeah.
Right, now I need to adapt and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Or my guard is very good in MMA, but when he gets the grips on the inside of the legs, it's impossible, you know? Right, fair enough, warm guard and stuff.
Yeah.
That's not applicable for MMA, but it's fun to use, you know? Like it's a hobby, you know what I mean? Like you should enjoy messing around with the gi. That's the way I feel on it. Anyway, you know, I love the gi because I done no gi for ages and like was learning leg locks and stuff. That when I learn the gi technique now, I'm like, oh, that's actually cool the way I can control him with just that one grip. You know, you're a bastard for it. Like you catch like the cross collar grip like behind her, and you're just like, jeez, I can't break that now. And you can move me around so much. Whereas in no gi, I can kind of stand up a bit more and make it a scramble. You know, but in the gi, it's like from shut and you're like, it's coming, and it's very hard to stop. You know yourself, John, know what I mean? It's pogs, you're like, that was bleeding, electrician hands crawling up your face, taking me one beard here that I have gone. It's like, bollocks.
I haven't actually trained in the gi since probably last November. I trained the gi for a good bit, but just personally, you know what I mean? I was finding like I'll get a good 6 weeks and then something be killing me, my back be killing me, and I get
it's definitely tougher.
And I'm finding like I have a bit of a shoulder injury at the moment, but it was non-jiu-jitsu related. It wasn't from jiu-jitsu, really. You know what I mean? It was just a bit
really,
of an accident.
But like maybe 7 years at the max, maybe.
Really, But I since like I train now gi down Charlestown before work in the morning, 6:30 we train before work, and I have never trained as much uninterrupted by injury up to now. And I'm not sure, I'd love to be able to say, yes, definitely, but it's just I'm training now gi. I find when I'm in the gi and I'm trying to pass half guard or whatever, and you have me wrapped up in that lapel guard and one guard, the pressure on my knee and the pressure everywhere, it's like I can't move. Whereas now gi, I just bleeding hip slide out. You know what I mean?
It's a bit more freer, and a bit more like open to different positions. Like the gi can be stuck in one position for the round. Like, and
normally it's the old fuckers that love the gi that want to grab a hold of you, and it's just like, okay, you're not going anywhere, and I'm staying here. But I actually prefer now gi, just myself. You know what I mean? It's just. And it's harder to submit
because you have
people.
that game in the gi, you bastard.
Well,
you're a slow cut like in the gi, half guard bottom.
I find in the gi, you know, I can submit people easy.
For definite.
Cross collar chokes and chokes. I can submit people in a round a good couple of times just with chokes. But now gi is a different story. It's a different story. If you finish a bloke once in a round,
you're happy, like for definite.
It's a lot harder to get the finish, you know.
And then when you go against guys who are good in the gi, like I remember going against were you here for that guy Tommy Pook? I don't know how to say his last name. Tommy Pookanen or something.
Oh, the spaghetti BJJ. No, I wasn't.
That is the craziest guy I've ever went with in the gi. You know, he was doing shit to me, and I was like, right, I'm gonna like really, and he was just doing drills to me live rolling. And I was thinking, oh my god, it was crazy level to go against. Like, and he was just able to like tie me up, and I was like, I'm not able to do against this fella. Know what I mean? Like usually, like I'd be like, right, fair enough, it's a black belt. At least maybe I could do like one thing, or at least close to one thing that I do on everybody else. But this fella absolutely arse raped me, like Gonski, man, tied with me. You know, it was pogsy to fail. But that's what I just like training because he was like, just have fun with it. You know, and he trains Mac 1 as well. Like he was in the corner for Mac 1, you know. So it shows that like he's like a pure, well, not pure gi jiu-jitsu guy, but pure sport jiu-jitsu. And Mac 1 has him in his corner as well, you know. So he's a high level.
I seen him at Polaris competing. We went over to, it was in what's that? The O2 in London. We went to see him a good couple of years ago. And he won. Like he was a good. He's decent guard, like he's just
very, very tricky.
Spaghetti name Spaghetti BJJ for a reason. Like
spaghetti
guard,
legs, like boom, like individual arms.
It's like Spider-Man. He was off his back. Legs were just everywhere, like you know.
They just go over to watch the Polaris.
Yeah.
Nice,
we went over for Gary Town and Dylan Dennis was the headliner.
Nice, good match that.
Yeah, there was a good few matches on the card, like, but that was the highlight, you know.
Who fought last night? Nicky Rod and...
I didn't get that. I didn't see that.
Yeah, neither did I, yeah.
I didn't see that.
Gary won by decision, though. He's saying that, yeah.
I was just looking at Brave yesterday, so it was Brave 37, the only fight. I was kind of interested. I looked at some of the other one was Mohamed Mokiev and Glenn McVeigh.
We did. Yeah, it was a good fight. Like I didn't see much of it, but you were explaining the same. We've seen Mohamed fight as well. Like it's kind of that Russian,
exactly what
Eastern,
you explained about that Russian couple of elbows here and there, and really Glenn was just drowned, you know.
Yeah, it is. It's a tough style to deal against, you know, especially when they have been in those positions more than you have, you know. Like that's the thing. Like I think people kind of need to stop being ignorant about it and put themselves in the bleeding Dagestani handcuff and spend fucking 50 hours getting your head slapped around by some white belt who usually a batter. Like, why don't you let them take that position, throw a few shots and just put the hours in that position and then figure out how to counter it, you know, because at the end of the day, that's what they're doing. We know that's what they're doing. So it's kind of ignorant to say, no, I'm just not going to focus on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it really is. Like, if you're going to come up against those guys, why not?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's the way I would do it.
Yeah,
anyway,
no,
you know,
100%.
focus on their strengths as well as my own. Obviously, I'm going to worry about my things as well, but like, don't just be saying, no, that's not going to work, because it obviously did 23-0. Like, you obviously worked a lot, you know, and it does work.
Yeah.
But there's holes there, like, in everything, you know?
Yeah.
I do believe so.
I'd like to see more leg kicks. That savagery of against the wrestlers of that low leg kick.
Yeah, like it definitely does stumble them, That
Justin Gaethje style. Like, not that one or two. Like, that just bam, bam, you know?
In the tie clinch, leg kick, yeah. But I do think, like...
and you're trying to take the two legs.
Yeah, but you can't commit too much.
No.
I think on the foot, like, especially with the hands, you know, like, commit to the outside with the leg kicks, and then, like, chip away, start to use a jab, maybe, like, your rear uppercut if you're a southpaw or an orthodox as well. But, like, you need to show them they can't come under without paying for it, you know. You can't just be coming out, like, left hook, right hook over the top, you know. That's a wrestler's dream, double leg, head into the chest, and then you're on your back for 5 minutes, you know, and then you come out the second round after losing the first round, you're like, right, I have to fucking do that again. It's like, I think relax for the first round is almost the same thing. That's the way I would go with the approach, you know. I wouldn't go in thinking, go in and put this cunt away. With a lot of the people have that mentality against the wrestlers, because, man, you know yourself, I think wrestling is the king. Like, like wrestling and like grappling martial arts against any form of striking martial arts, I think wins, personally.
Well, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, exactly. Like, at the end of the day,
add up the numbers.
At the end of the day, Thai boxers clinch, K1 guys clinch, boxers clinch. So if you can get the clinch and then take them down, they're done, you know, because you always end up, like, meeting in the middle. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be a clash and you're going to grab onto each other, and then it's what happens there. Like, when you look at street fight videos, I don't get into street fights much around, but you can see in the street fight videos, they, like, come together, and then some guy just, like, saying a suplex on WWE and, like, throws him and lands on his head, and you're just like, oh my god.
Dead.
But if you could just control that situation and knew, like, outside leg trip, knee on belly, hand on the throat, and now it's just like boom, 1 or 2, right, come here to me, you know what I mean? You can control the situation. It's so much easier when you can see, like, oh, if he knew a small bit of grappling there, he'd be grand. Like, you know, I think, like, that's the way it should be, you know.
No, I like that Dagestani handshake. I also like the cradle. I'm also a fan of the half Nelson. I seen Muhammad doing the half Nelson last night, turning him
from the total.
It's great position. I use that a lot to turn people. It's so uncomfortable. You have to go with it.
Catch wrestling back to Ireland.
Catch wrestling is where it's at. I love that turning people. Did you know there was an old school
type of Irish wrestling called collar and elbow?
Cuff and elbow or something like that.
Yeah. It was mad stuff that, like, it's crazy to think about. I'd love to see like some old school competition. No, I'd love to, like, see what it's like, you know. Me and Goose were doing a bit of research on it. They do have the jocks and all, like the bleeding, the wrestlers and shit like that, old school stuff like it.
Yeah, baby oil and hands down the bags. The oil shakes, you see that? The Kazakhs.
They're crazy them, bro. They're crazy, aren't they? You've nothing else to be doing, man. Fuck's sake. That and bleeding time and horses.
Over. So we're going to wrap it up at that. Gary, hit them with your Instagram.
Gary Rooney, just straight up. That's it. If you want to add me, go ahead. I might accept you, I might not.
Any sponsors? Shout out.
Sponsors and stuff like that. I'm always looking for more, but Subset, the boys have sponsored me like continuous, and they always give me continuous support. And then Outdoor and Sons Funeral Home, they gave me a few quid to the last few competitions and things like that. So mainly them two, to be honest.
And the two boys that do the DJing for you, that organise the parties as well.
Fair play, Shake and Bake, well done. The boys are going to give me a few digs in the head now because I'm forgetting about them, but they fucking, the boys like look after me. But to be honest, like it's the community, like that's the main one. Like I do have the sponsors and things like that, but it is like when everybody gets together, like when I go to compete and stuff like that, they all get behind me. The boys throw a party together for me. They put out a bit of money and everybody throws a tenner in that type of job, So,
Totally.
Man, like it's unbelievable to come from an area like that, Like it really is, and I don't think there's many communities like that left, I think people are kind of trying to get rid of that mentality, like look after your own and things, and it's just I'm grateful to be a part of that fucking community,
And Watling Street flats.
Watling Street, but
not all of our Bond.
The Bond area, love from everywhere. I don't hate them.
Which bonfire did you collect for? That's the important.
I went training instead.
What bonfire did you collect from?
And then everybody's.
That's real important. Around October, that's real important. You know what I mean?
September. It starts in September.
It used to start with us end of August. You know what I mean? All the little ants, pallets up the road.
Man, it's crazy. I wonder if
you don't really see it too much anymore.
I was going to say that as well, but in other countries, like is Ireland the only place that does bonfires? I've never seen like.
I know
up
north
America.
they do it, and they do it in the UK a bit.
Yeah,
I know up north it's a big thing, and they do it in small ones in America and around the place. But it's a big thing in Ireland.
America, like,
small ones. It'd be mainly 4th of July and stuff.
Like that's mad. Like I don't think anywhere else in the world like collects.
No.
It's fucked up that, when you think about it, like it's a mad one.
Now we're all the climate and all now, we don't really, you know what I mean? They don't really do it a whole lot anymore.
Tires, bro.
I remember like they used to be like fires like 10 foot that way, 15. That's bleeding Shelbyville. We're bleeding Springfield. It's mad. Killing each other over a pallet.
And then the next day in November it's fresh.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
And my mad be coming in, she'd be like that. Bang, you'd be at a fire for about 3 days. You at that fire? No, man. You'd be black with the tire. The tire dust all over you. You at the fire? No, man, what's the problem?
Boom, head slapped off you.
Yes. So that's it this week on the Straight Talking Podcast. Great to have Gary Rooney on it.
Thanks very much, John.
And no worries. No worries. So that's it. Yup.
Yup, the flats.